I had to make sure I wasn't dreaming when he said what he said. So, but I'm
here, of course, joined with Nick Bockins of the Bockins Show. Nick, what's going on here, everybody? Welcome into a Christmas special of the Buffoon and Bockins. My name is Tanner Dawson of the Whiskey Sports Podcast and the Sports Buffoons, and I am joined by Nick Bockins of the Bockins Show. Nick, what's up, dude?
What's up, man? Just watching my Packers barely hang on here to the flipping Rams. We're getting screwed by the refs a little bit on some bad holding penalties, but
welcome to I guess you don't have Carl Sheffers this game. Oh, darn it. Unlike us, who can't seem to I was bad calling yesterday. A lot of bad calls. So
yeah, the Chiefs especially that was one of the worst officiated games of this season.
Well, yeah, but I mean that's who we had against the Bengals last year in the regular season. That was the same crew that called the James Harrison hold when he fell down in the playoffs of the field goal game. And that's also the same crew where there's a picture of Carl going this way and his other guy going the other way, calling first downs. So nothing surprising there in the NFL officiating world. So, but hey, man, it wasn't too bad of a Sunday though, really. Had the whole Raiders Patriots debacle go down, which is hilarious because I figured that would actually happen to the Raiders.
Yeah, Jaguars in the playoff hunt still. Lions
Tennessee tanking right now.
Yes.
So, I mean, we got lots to unpack today, guys. We are gonna, of course, we always bring in Jim Biringer and Jonathan Grishman. We're gonna bring in Johnny for the first half as well. Johnny Cruz, you guys all know him from our Sunday shows here. But I mean, we got lots to unpack here today. We're gonna get some bowl game predictions as well, and then we'll talk some MLB free agency news with Mr. Jonathan here. As things continue to happen in the MLB world. So we got lots to go on today, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow. You guys check out my little cool slideshow deal going on. It's all the cool podcasts. And if you guys want your podcast on my cool little circle here for the Buffoon and Bockins Show, let me know. Always happy to put it on there. So let's get going here. First, we'll bring in Johnny, who's going to kind of co-host with us today for a little bit today. Johnny, what's up, dude?
What's going on, gentlemen? I appreciate you guys having me on. That's a cool little thing you got going on behind you there, man.
Hey, thanks, dude. I got a chance to work on it today, so
nice.
Trying to put some stuff in. Of course, I'm going to add to it as I go, but this is kind of a quick, 10-minute deal I did. So
yeah, that's pretty cool, man. Good job.
So thank you, appreciate it. Always happy to broadcast, advertise, and do all the cool stuff for people. So the Let's Talk Sports community. So. Like I said, people just need to let me know, and I'll put it on. So, but Johnny, real quick here before we bring Jim in, how you feeling? Dolphins with the tough loss on Thursday or Saturday? No, Saturday night. Tough loss, but I mean, just overall quick feeling. Like, are you feeling okay?
Yeah. I mean, they did what I was hoping that they would do. I mean, it was a tough ask for them to win that game, but. I definitely wanted them to at least compete and show something. They did more than that. I mean, they had opportunities to win that game. If Mike McDaniel would run the ball, you know what I'm saying? I mean, we're running the ball down their throats, the whole game. And on a couple of 3rd and 1s, he wants to get all cute with these play actions when just run the ball, man, and just keep it going, keep that clock ticking. But we showed that we can play with the big boys. So
yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Good bounce back game in a way, even though you didn't win. Still good bounce back. So
yeah, we just got to handle our business the last 3 weeks, and we'll be all right.
Yeah, I'm glad you're feeling all right. So
don't worry, you guys will be able to bounce back and snap that 3-game losing streak this on Christmas.
I hope so, bro. Because you're saying
probably be ruined as
it's Aaron Rodgers. But if you guys win this game, then there's what I'm saying. You're going to be playing for something next week. You know what I'm saying? If you lose this game, then that's something else. But it's still Aaron Rodgers,
the season's over, which I said was I said the season was over for the Packers months ago.
6 weeks.
Yes, a month and a half ago.
It's been gone for Nick for a while. So how about we bring in a guy whose team is not out of it by any means, and still still fighting for that, that 5-6 spot right now.
Yeah.
Jim Biringer. Jim, what's up, man?
What's good, boys? How we doing?
What up?
What up, Johnny? How you been?
I'm good, man. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good. I'm ecstatic after yesterday. I don't want to hear anybody complain about the officials because my uncle says, don't blame the officials. That's because you weren't good enough to win that day. So that's how it is, man.
Well, we were good enough. I'm just saying, there's some questionable calls.
I mean, the officiating's been bad all year, all around the league. So it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Jim, Samuel was mugged out there. I mean, that was your old-fashioned New York City.
It was a mug. Hey,
on that last play of the game. Hey, the man said, "Hey, give me all your money and then some." And the ref just was like, "Yeah, we're not going to call that. We got to get the hell up out of Washington in this shithole stadium. So let's just let it ride out."
Look, to me personally, I'd rather the referees keep the flags in the pockets and the whistles down because you know what? Let the players decide this because it was really a playoff game. And when was the last time Washington and New York actually played a playoff type game in December? So it was kind of good to see. I mean, it almost had a feeling that if Washington tied the game, we're going to have another tie. It just had that feeling.
Oh, it was going that way.
It was so going that way. It was so going that way. But you know what? It was going both ways, calls both ways. I mean, on the last play, everybody talks about the mugging, the pass interference. There was about 4 giant linemen that were thrown to the ground. The one guy got an eye poke. So, I mean, I didn't know that stuff was legal either. So if it's going to go both ways, I don't really have a problem with it. But again, the Giants did enough to win the game, and they probably should have got 7 on the last drive after they got the strip sack. The strip fumble on Heineke when the Redskins
Thibodeau, baby.
Dude, Kayvon Thibodeau. This is why you drafted him.
I love that kid, man. I love that kid. That was a great pick, man.
Dude, this kid's been on fire. He had a game last night. I think, he had his best game of the season. 2 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery for a touchdown, couple sacks. I mean, he was everywhere, and Washington tried to do their best to stop him, but they couldn't do it. Barkley looked good on the final drive that led to 3 points. But again, what do we talk? I mean, look, Hodgkins looks pretty good, that the wide receiver that they picked up from Buffalo. But again, wide receiver issues for the Giants. They got to be able to throw the football.
They beat a bad team or a mediocre team. I mean,
I'd say mediocre.
I'd say mediocre.
I'm not going to say bad team.
Okay, a mediocre team and the Commanders, but I mean, they're going to – the Giants can still get in here. That tie, Jim, might actually be the most blessingest thing in all season. Because here come this little team out of Detroit, the Detroit Lions, who are arguably the hottest team in the league, can win out and try to get in. But that tie, that the Giants could have 1 less loss, and that tie could them and Washington in the playoffs.
I know it's crazy to think that just if they got 5 more yards in that first meeting against Washington, you're looking potentially at 2-0 against the Washington Commanders, and we're not even talking about the tie. We're not, they're pretty much then in the driver's seat. But look, Daniel Jones was decent yesterday. Saquon was good. Their defense, I think, really stepped up and had a really good game yesterday. And like you said, Kayvon Thibodeau was just on fire, and now got a tough. I wouldn't say. I think this stretch now, these 3 games, you can't take anybody lightly. But I think maybe instead of looking at 2 losses, you might be looking at 2 wins now.
Yeah, we saw Minnesota struggle, of course, that first half, as we all saw against the Colts. And that's a team. If you can get that offense down and controlled, then that's a winnable game by itself. Absolutely. Especially in the dome.
Absolutely in the dome. Well, what do we talk about, Nick, with the beginning of the year with the Giants? They got to just keep it close, right?
Well, Minnesota's going to do that. They play everybody close. They don't ever blow. Only their losses are blowout losses. Minnesota they got a horseshoe up their ass. They find ways to win close games every week.
It's better than last year. Last year, this team was the ones that were ahead in the third quarter, and then they would blow all the leads in the fourth. This year, they're the ones either coming back or barely scraping ahead. But the whole point, the difference between this era or this season versus last season is they're finishing games. However it looks, it's bad, it's ugly, but they're still finishing games.
Yeah, but that might have been the biggest comeback in history or whatever. But how are you going to go down 33-0 to the damn Colts in the first place? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, a blocked punt and a couple fluke.
There's a lot of teams that swung that way.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? So they came back on the Colts. If it was a halfway decent team, there's no way they come back.
Right.
So I think the Giants have every shot to win that game in Minnesota, man. You know how I felt about the Vikings all year, Nick, man. So I don't believe in them at all, man. For real.
I mean, look, they have a shot. I mean, what is it? I just heard, what was it? I think Matt Ryan's on the wrong side of history on 2 trivia questions now.
It's so bad. I feel bad for the guy.
Yeah,
he literally has 2 teams that have just fallen apart. One in the Super Bowl, one last Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, that's just bad. Sucks. But the Giants definitely have a shot at Minnesota. I mean, look, you're going to the Dome. You're playing. You got no elements. We know what Graham Gano can do, kicking a field goal, and now with no elements, he can be bombing them from over 50 yards easily. So, I mean, I think the Giants have a shot. Again, it's going to be, can they open the field? Can Daniel Jones be efficient like he was yesterday against Washington? A couple of scoring drives, really just smart passes. They got help on some plays, especially late on that fourth, when they went 4th and 8, late in the game. But you know what? They got the job done. It was an ugly victory that they needed, but all the Giants' victories this year have been really ugly. Nothing's really come pretty for this Giants team this year. And you know what? Look, they're in a position. You get potentially 2 wins here. I think you've pretty much clinched yourself in the playoffs. I mean,
absolutely.
Especially with that tie, it definitely helps now. But I mean, to get a division win against Washington, potentially knock Washington's team hopes of playoffs out of there, that's huge for them.
Right. Yeah. And that's a huge deal going into play. Let's look here real quick. Let me pull it back up of the schedule coming up here this upcoming weekend, because there's a lot of still games in the NFC that has playoff implications. Yeah.
Absolutely,
right?
Man.
So let's pop this back up here.
Can't believe Detroit's in a position.
Can we believe that we're still talking about Detroit?
Yeah.
Right. Like
16?
I'm rooting for Detroit. I hope even without Green Bay, go Detroit, because I don't want Green Bay to get in. Because they're gonna get it. If they get in, it's fluky and they'll probably lose unless they play Minnesota. The whole Super Bowl would be get into the playoffs, beat Minnesota, and then I don't care what else happens after that. But
right.
Bro, once you're in the tournament, man, you never know, bro. You got Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Rodgers, bro.
We're not getting in anyway. What's going to happen is we're going to barely win this game tonight. Packer fans and the media is going to start hyping us up, making us all feel real good on coming on Sunday. And what are we going to do? We're going to fly down to Miami. It's like the girlfriend that you broke up with, and she just keeps sliding into your DMs, sending you nude photos. Come on, baby. Everything's going to be all right. I know what you like. Come on over. Come on. We'll slide down to Miami, and then we're going to get our butts kicked by the Dolphins. Season over. So we might as well just lose this game tonight so we ain't got to go through all that. And we can say, see you later.
Hey, if they lose tonight, do you think they just play Jordan Love, or you think Aaron's going to play out the whole season?
Play Jordan Love the rest of the year.
Why?
Once they're eliminated from the
why
playoff,
not, man?
Exactly. Why not?
You might as well see what you got.
Yeah,
I mean, even if you can just flip it for a trade, even if you get a 3rd or 4th round pick or something for the kid, at least see what you got in them.
Yeah, trying to upset Rodgers even more.
I mean, they're not winning.
What does it matter now? What's he gonna do? Refuse to play?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
That's for a trade. Now you're really gonna be in the crapper for a while.
Nah, man. They don't have to trade him, bro. He ain't gonna give up that $50 million, bro. He's gonna show up next year regardless.
I don't like that. I think.
If they're eliminated, why not, Tanner?
Nah. You gotta keep your guy in.
Wouldn't you want to see what the kid can do?
Don't you want to see if Rodgers can connect with any of these receivers anymore? Maybe build something.
Tough
I
to say,
guess.
really.
You know,
I guess.
there's still a lot to be seen for this team. So, there's granted, I know it's not playoff possible, but still, like, don't you want to see what you got? Maybe stick out Samari Torre for a little bit longer and see what happens. I don't know. But I don't know. I mean, you put Love in. Love's already threatened to want to be traded, which
No,
I'd
he's
be.
never
Well,
been
that-
threatened.
Oh,
You
was
can
that
say-
a okay?
That's just a rumor. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's the rumor going around.
Yeah, like
Right, but
they said,
you're
like,
you're
could
gonna have
see
to
that
make a
coming.
decision on him at some point about his 5th year. I mean, you're not gonna. Do you pick up his 5th year option? I mean, I guess
Yeah.
you kind of
I
have
mean,
to.
Love?
but that's the
kinda have to,
decision
yeah.
the Giants have to make too now with Daniel Jones. Are they going to pick up
And
his option?
Saquon. And
Right.
Saquon.
Are they going to pick up their options? I mean, look, Collinsworth was saying
That's
it
true.
last night on the broadcast. At least he thinks both guys will be back. And Joe Sharon's got a lot to work on. He's going to evaluate to see. I got to believe possibly 26 is definitely back. I don't know about Daniel Jones. I'm still not sold on him. And it's crazy to think that, but you know what? I've never been a fan of his, but I think Saquon's going to be back with the play he's had this year.
Jim, who would you rather have, say, Jones or Baker?
Ooh.
Man, that's tough.
You think Baker can handle New York, man?
No, I don't think so. I
That's
think
what I'm
he'd
saying.
be. I think
That
he'd be
media,
shredded,
bro.
man. I think
That
he'd be
media.
shredded. I think he'd be shredded
Right.
to pieces
Right.
after one bad game.
That's a tough
What do you
question.
think the Giants do? They offer Daniel like a 2-year kind of 1 year and an option type prove it type thing? Because if you franchise him, you're paying him like close to $30 million.
Yeah, they're not
He
going
ain't
to
worth-
franchise him. They can't franchise him because he's not worth that kind of money.
Right.
And
So
Jones
you
isn't
offer
going to
him
sign
like
a
like
1 year prove it deal either.
No, like
so.
a 2-year, you know what I'm saying, 30 something. Give him
gotta take
$22 million or something.
But now
He's
you're
gotta
wasting all the Saquon years with Daniel
Yeah,
Jones.
Exactly. So I think
Yeah.
they have to get somebody in that can, if they believe they are ready to take the next step, you got to bridge it till you find the next quarterback.
Do you think they're ready to take the next
No,
step?
I
bro?
don't.
I think
They're still this is
right.
still a young rebuilding team
Right,
with
right.
a good young general manager, a young
Mhm.
coach, but the
Yeah,
team believes around the coach. But
Right.
again, it's an evaluation process for everybody. But
Right.
What Dable's doing right now with the Giants is really good. There's a belief, there's a swagger back with that defense, some
Mhm.
players. But again, what are you doing with Barkley and what are you doing with Jones? Because
Right.
you have to bring in now. Granted, they'll be able to move some money, but still, what are you doing here?
Right.
Like, who you looking at? Because and again, the question is always, obviously they're not getting rid of a head coach, but if you look at other coaches, it's like, okay, you want to get rid of this guy. What's better?
Right.
Right now, who's better right now? Maybe, like you said, Johnny, maybe you do a couple year deal with an option. I don't know.
Right.
I mean, it's tough to
I mean,
say.
you're gonna have to give him a little bit of money, but like I said, you can give him a 2-year, $40 million. You know what I'm saying? Give him $22 million a year. I mean, that's so you're not insulting the kid, but you're not wasting too much money. Because what do you give Saquon an extension? I mean, he's having a good year, but
You sign him.
Pay Saquon.
You
pay him.
gotta pay Saquon if you're gonna
You pay him.
You pay him. I mean, look, the way he's playing right now, he's showing that he's the guy that he was his rookie year and the guy that he was in Penn State. And this is a reason why you drafted him that high.
Right.
There's a lot of decisions to make.
Yeah, if you don't pay him, we will.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody will. Jones
That's
will
for
look. Jones has got to look and read the tea leaves, right? Just know that, hey, this team, like, I got to take a team-friendly deal, maybe a
That's what I'm
short-term
saying.
prove-it deal. I
Right.
think that's what he has to do, because what's his market outside of the Giants going to be? Like,
Not
Number
very
one,
high.
there's not gonna be
Nothing,
a lot of
backup
teams- Yeah,
type
right.
stuff.
there's not going to be a lot of teams looking for a quarterback, a new start like that. Like Carolina, maybe. Like, who would you might as
I mean,
well stick
Sam
with
Darnold's
Darnold.
actually playing really well
That's
right
what
now
I'm
for the
saying.
Panthers.
You might as well stick
He-
with Sam Darnold. If you're
He'd
gonna
be
go
a
Daniel.
probably one of the higher paying backup quarterbacks, is what it would be in the
Right.
end.
Right.
you
Jimmy
know.
G would make sense to go to New York, I think, for the Giants.
Look, we kind of we kind of saw this Giants in the offseason. You know, they got the new GM, the new coach. They made a little bit of moves on the defense. They drafted really well. I think we're seeing maybe not a quick turnaround, but maybe some more excitement for this offseason coming into play. I would not be surprised if you see two big names on that offense next year. You know, that could be potential free agents.
Yeah.
I got to get rid of Kenny Galladay.
One at wide receiver, one at quarterback.
You need a receiver, right?
They
you
definitely need a receiver.
But who though? Who are they going to trade for?
Well, you got to get Galladay off the books. So.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Galladay's your issue.
You got to get rid of him.
But who's available? Who's available for trade? Right? You know what I'm saying? Going into next season, who's going to be available?
Who's going to be available?
Yeah, to try to make a trade to get a stud wide receiver
or a free agent. Who's a free agent? Is who can you?
Yeah, I don't even know who's. I don't know who's going to be available. That's the thing. I mean, there somebody?
We know who's available. I mean, we know one guy who's available that has not.
You talking about OBJ?
He's free, but the Giants and Dallas Cowboys were afraid of his physicals because of his injury.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Like if he's rested and recovered fully after the Super Bowl and everything, maybe the Giants take another look at it.
Do you try to get D-Hop away from Arizona? Because Kyler ain't playing next year.
No. D-Hop isn't leaving AZ
no,
for
he's
Giants.
Not, no.
He's got too much.
Think so?
So if we're looking here kind of at a small list at the moment for upcoming UFAs, guys like Nelson Aguilar's there, DJ Chark, Marvin Jones, which could be an interesting one. Julio, if you really want to go that route. The Lizard King, Jacoby Myers, Juju, if the Chiefs don't sign him, Jarvis Landry.
There's really no big...
So nobody, basically.
So basically nobody that can open the field.
Nick's N'Keal Harry, you know, he was out there.
N'Keal Harry, baby.
Yeah, I'm going down the list here. I'm not seeing any big names.
There isn't much. Yeah, there isn't much. So many guys.
What about the Johnson kid from Pittsburgh?
Deontay Johnson?
Yeah, try to take him away from Pittsburgh.
He just
but
signed
Pittsburgh
a deal
isn't going to take.
Did he just sign a deal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know he signed a deal.
He got a deal when everybody else was getting their receiver deals. That's the thing.
I didn't know that he got. I didn't think he got paid. He got paid.
He got paid. Okay. When everybody else was getting their deals, he was part of that group that was getting deals. Everybody just paid their wide receivers, so there's not a whole lot of.
There's not
much out there. There's not much out there. They gotta hope. They gotta hope the kid Robinson, starts to take his game up, and maybe they draft. Maybe they obviously they may not be in a position to draft him. You can move up, find guys in the draft.
You can find a good wide receiver late in the first round, bro.
Yeah, so
Justin Jefferson was what 23, 24?
Yeah, it's right there alone.
Right.
So I'll give you guys some list of quarterbacks as well coming up here. As of now, of course. Tom Brady, Baker, Sam Darnold, Jimmy G, Teddy, DJ, of course. We got Jacoby Brissett, Geno Smith, Andy Dalton, Mike White, Taylor Heineke, Lamar Jackson. And that really is your big list here. Even if you want to include Gardner Minshew,
you might as well just stay with Jones,
bro. Yep.
Yeah, at that point, if you're not going to get Lamar, you just stick with Jones.
Yeah. You know how much? Lamar's going to want that 230, 250 guarantee.
The Ravens.
I don't think you pay that if you're the Giants.
The Ravens can franchise tag him too, so there's
right.
Correct. Yeah. For a pretty good, I guess, amount there.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's something interesting when we get closer to the offseason. Yeah. There's always surprise cuts, surprise moves for this Giants team. I just feel that upcoming next season, you're going to encounter two big names outside of Saquon Barkley on that offense, just from the way they approach the defense in the draft this past year. So.
I agree. And maybe they get that big name out of the draft. Who knows?
Hey, you never know on that. So
you never know because there's a lot of good draft eligible receivers coming out of college. So
always.
You can find them anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely on that here. Let's talk real quick here, Jim. Here, I do want to talk a couple of these games here coming up here. Obviously, NFC playoff implications. One, you have the Seahawks and Chiefs at Arrowhead. Obviously, we all know Chiefs like to play down to that level of their opponent.
Yeah, we've seen it
for whatever reason. And you like to, stress everybody out. That's a Chiefs fan out. So I guess that could be a team that gets knocked out of the playoffs this week. New York, Minnesota. Of course, we talked about that one.
San Fran.
That'd be
Washington, San Fran.
That's huge, right?
And then
there,
Detroit,
man.
Carolina is where.
That's big too.
I feel like almost every NFC game that's a matchup outside of Tampa Bay and Arizona is like legit.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, big
playoff.
time playoff. Big
yeah,
time
like
playoff,
Green Bay, Miami, even.
Yeah.
Going into play. Like there's a lot of implications. Like we could be talking next Monday. The Detroit Lions could be in. The Washington could be out. And Seattle could be eliminated. And, like some of these teams could be eliminated. It's
crazy.
It starts on Thursday,
crazy,
right?
Man.
The Jets and Jags, like that's a huge.
Yeah, that's big, man.
On Thursday night, week 16, you have to watch the Jets Jaguars because both teams are fighting for their playoff lives. I mean, I'd have smacked you and asked you what drugs you were on if you would have told me that at the beginning of the season.
That's all right, Nick. You know, Tony Khan's gonna have a front row seat that day.
Right.
He's gonna be up there. Yeah, and the Titans, the way the Titans are playing right now, the Jaguars, as long as they just went out, they could easily take over that division.
Yeah, I don't think they have that bad of a schedule either. I mean, after this Jets game, I think they play. Do they play the Colts one more time? I think
I'll show it.
Or Houston. They play one of those garbage teams
Houston
in the
again.
I mean, they could easily win out. I think if they can get past this Jets D.
Yeah, so you're looking at Jets, Houston, Tennessee. So we could be seeing Sunday, January 8th.
Those are winnable games for the Jaguars.
That Tennessee game could be legit.
Yeah, that could be for the division.
Who gets in the playoffs?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Jags win, they're in. Like win out, you're in because Tennessee is one game ahead of them in the loss column. But if they beat them once already, then that last game they would own the tiebreaker, and they would have the same record. All they got to do is win. Out.
Do we think the Jaguars could do 2 years in a row of spoiling the last game of the season? Last year it was the Colts missing the playoffs. The Jaguars could be the ones now sneaking in and beating Tennessee and eliminating Tennessee in the last game of the season.
Why not? Yo, Jags all elite, baby. Let's go.
Oh my Lord. This is I can't remember a time where we were talking this many teams in for a playoff race entering week 16.
That's crazy.
It's been a fun year, man.
It's been a good year for the NFL.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, by far. By far. All right. So let's do it here real quick here. Let's break down some bowl games before we let Jim go. We won't take too long here on this.
How did we do last week? Did you guys not? Did anybody write down?
I didn't get a chance to.
I went 7-3.
Did you?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I know I definitely missed, I think, about 4 or 5. So
yeah,
a little rough, but it's bounce back time.
Yeah.
So this is what. So
I'll 7-3, including the Marshall beat down at UConn today. Yeah.
Marshall beat UConn pretty bad. I didn't see that score yet.
I know Oregon State beat up on Florida big time.
Yep.
I know Fresno State beat up on Washington State big time.
Yep.
Wow.
Saw those.
Who won the UTSA game? Who won
Troy.
that game?
Troy did. It was a comeback too, I think.
It was live. Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, I mean it was some good matchups here.
That first night was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I would say so. I'd say it wasn't too bad of a first round of bowl game. So
no.
Let's take a look here, guys, at our matchups going in till next Monday. A couple bigger names in the play.
Yeah.
So let's start here with starting tomorrow. We got Eastern Michigan, San Jose State. I'm going to go the Eagles winning this one. The spread is San Jose -3.5, over under 52.5. What do you guys got?
I'll take Eastern Michigan here.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like taking Eastern Michigan as well. Yep.
Yeah. I kind of like how they've been finishing out the season. Next up, the Boca Raton Bowl, Tuesday, tomorrow night. Liberty Flames and the Toledo Rockets. I think this is actually a pretty fun matchup. As we kind of saw this season from both teams that can be in and out. Liberty, having that, they beat Notre Dame, right?
Yeah, I
right?
think so.
I'm pretty sure they beat Notre Dame.
Well, I know Marshall beat Notre Dame for sure.
And Marshall beat yeah.
It was
I
Marshall.
don't know if Liberty. They might have actually.
All right, no, Liberty, they beat a big team. Now I can't remember what that big team was. Hang on, I want to look because now it's gonna bug me.
Who'd they beat?
Arkansas.
They beat
That was it?
Arkansas.
Is it? Yeah, they didn't play.
Oh yeah, that was the Arkansas upset because Arkansas.
Yeah, that was
still,
Arkansas.
right?
Yeah. Okay, so that was Arkansas. Yeah, they still beat a big team.
That's still a big team.
That's still a big win. I mean, that's nothing to shake your nose at. An SEC team like Arkansas, that's pretty good.
So I'm going to go in this game here. I think Liberty's still kind of inconsistent here. Toledo's kind of caught fire late. I'm going Toledo.
I like Toledo in this game too. I just like the way they finished. I mean, it's going to be one of the funner games to watch because there's going to be a lot of points scored in this one. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go Toledo in this game.
I'm going to go Liberty. I'm going to go Liberty and see what's up.
I'm going to go with Toledo here. Liberty's coach went to Auburn, so it's kind of one of them,
So they're going to play for the interim coach, man.
There you go.
Yep, that's fair. New Orleans Bowl Wednesday, 8 p.m. We got 8 p.m. Central. We got Western Kentucky and South Alabama. South Alabama is favored at 4.5. Over and under 56. I like South Alabama in this one. I think they come out and kind of beat up on the Hilltoppers.
I'm with you on that one. Yeah, the South Alabama one.
Yeah, I like South Alabama here too.
Yeah, give me the. We're all in. Lock it in. We're all in on South Alabama, baby.
Lock it in.
Up next here, guys, Armed Force Bowl should be a decent one. Baylor, Air Force. Baylor's favored by 4. Over under 43.5. I like Baylor in this one. Just putting up the points on that offense.
Look, to me, this is going to be crucial because it depends on which Baylor team shows up. I mean, we've seen the Baylor team that can be really good, and we can see a Baylor team that's not so good. The thing is, Air Force plays so well, and their triple option gives teams really, really fits. And it's good to see, the team in this position. I mean, look, to me, I think Baylor can win this game, but it's going to be a lot closer than people really think it is because Air Force will give them fits.
I'm going with Air Force. I think they're gonna want to play it more than Baylor.
Yeah, it depends on who's again.
That's what I say. Are they even gonna be interested in playing this game? You know what I'm saying, Baylor? To be quite honest, so I'm gonna go with the cadets, man, and go with Air Force and their military team there.
That's fair.
I mean, that is definitely fair. I mean, it all depends on what guys are not playing in these bowl games.
Right,
I mean,
right.
It really is a toss-up, again, with guys who decide to sit out. And so, again, it depends on which Baylor team shows up.
That's not a lie on the Baylor team part. It literally is that. Next up.
Jim makes a good point with a triple option on the Air Force. Like, teams don't see that all the time. And the Air Force, that's how they win some of these games. But I'm going to go with the team that it's got kids who show up to play football and not do other things. So give me Baylor.
I like it. The Gasparilla Bowl guys coming to play. Wake Forest and Missouri. Missouri was too afraid to play KU in Memphis, so they went out. Wake Forest.
That was a lie.
So I'm sticking to it. I love the story. I'm sticking to it. So
take
Wake.
I'm taking Wake.
Yeah, I'm taking Wake. SEC goes down.
No, give me MIZZOU. Missouri represent, baby. Let's go. Come on, Tigers. Come on. Missouri got the phone call, and they thought Kansas football team got eliminated. They didn't realize it. They were like, Kansas football? What? We're just playing them in basketball. Click.
I ain't gonna start it. All right, let's move on to Independence Bowl Friday, guys. 2 p.m. Louisiana Raging Cajuns and Houston Cougars. I'm going Houston in this one. Their favorite 7.5, over under 57. I like Houston in this matchup.
Yeah, I think Houston, again, depends. Houston's been so inconsistent. This was the team that was supposed to represent the American and had the best chance to make maybe a New Year's Six or a playoff this year. But I think I like the way that Coach Scott and play towards the end of the year. I like Houston in this game.
Yeah, I'm with him too. Houston's going to put up some points.
Mm-hmm. That's what I think too.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Zach Wilson both like the Cougars, so give me the Cougars.
Love it. Here we go.
Can't go wrong with a Cougar, man.
That's right. Hawaii Bowl on Saturday. Middle Tennessee, San Diego State. This is actually kind of a toss-up. I know San Diego State's favored by 7 over under 49. I think I'm going to go San Diego State though on this one. I don't think I can pull away from them. This is kind of one of those toss-up games for me though.
Yeah, I like STSU here. Go Aztecs.
Yeah, I like the Aztecs here. Sorry, Johnny. Due to the fact that San Diego's a little bit like Hawaii, they're going to be used to that nice, warm, sunny weather. Tennessee, they're going to be chilling out on the beach, just not really practicing. So give me the Aztecs, baby.
It's unanimous, man. I'm taking San Diego State too. Marshall Faulk's alma mater. I'm gonna go San Diego State.
Hey, amen to that.
All right, our final pick here for tonight is New Mexico State and Bowling Green. Going to the Quick Lane Bowl. Bowling Green is favored by 3.5 over under 48. I think I'm going to go Bowling Green in this one.
I'm with you, man, on that one.
I'll go New Mexico State to be different.
Just to be different.
Just to be different.
I like it.
To be different.
I'm going Bowling Green as well.
All right, guys. So that wraps up our weekly bowl games for the NCAA. Jim, we'll let you go, man. I appreciate you hopping on, talking with us.
I got one question for you, Jim, before we get out. Ovi, 800 Ovi, where you rank him at? 800 goals, right? Last week.
Yes.
Trick. So go ahead, give us your parting thoughts on the wonder guy of Ovechkin. Ovechkin,
the grade 8, Ovi. Whatever you want to call him, is probably the best pure goal scorer the NHL's ever seen. And he had a chance to break or tie Gordie Howe tonight. He did not do that. He's had that on opportunity now that since he got the hat trick for 800. He's 95 goals away from passing Wayne Gretzky, which he will not do this year or next year. But if he continues his pace, he will do it probably in the fall or winter of 2024. And he's just unbelievable what he's done for the game, milestone. And as I say to everybody, it's a shame because, it should get a lot more hype than it does, because if this was a home run race in Major League Baseball, they'd be hyping it up way more. But again, it's National Hockey League. But Ovechkin, congrats to him. 3 members of the 800 goal club, all greats of the game. Right. That's how it needs to be done.
He's definitely top 5 all time.
Oh, I don't know about top 5 all time.
No,
where do you rank him all time?
I was about to say, where would you rank him all time?
Top 10 for me, because the top 5 is really tough to crack if you're gonna look at it, right? All right, so it's gonna be Wayne, Gordie, Bobby Orr. Okay, those are your top 3.
Right.
Where are you putting?
Do you put Super Mario up in there?
Yeah, Super Mario's in there for me, and
that's what I'm saying. There's an argument.
And then probably you got Sid's probably top 5, at least Sid's top 5, maybe top 10. But then there's Bobby. You talk about Bobby Hull. You're talking about Maurice the Rocket Richard. You're talking about guys of the past that probably are in there, but the top 3 is not changing. It's Gretzky, Howe, and Orr. Right. Depends on the order, how you want to put them in.
Is it really? You would put somebody above Wayne Gretzky?
Well, I mean, you talk to Wayne and Bobby Orr, they say Gordie Howe is the greatest hockey player of all time, because
got you. I feel you.
So, okay. I mean, it's.
That's not complete flip-flop from if you ask Michael Jordan who the greatest basketball players of all time, he's going to say Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
No, actually he doesn't.
No,
he never does.
He never says that he's the best. He just says, I don't like to compare myself against other people in other areas.
Yeah, he always says that.
I swear he said in the documentary. Maybe not.
Nah.
Well, no, I mean, he it's...
He sure indicated it, at least. Maybe that's what I took out of it.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of indicated it, but I mean, you think about it, if it's definitely Wayne, it's definitely Gordie, it's Mario, it's Bobby. You probably could throw Sid in there, and then John Beliveau, you guys. Now we're going back years, and Ovi's probably just on the outside of the top 5. I don't know if he'll ever crack it. He may. Maybe if he reaches 900 goals or something, you could say, okay, Ovechkin could be in there. But to pass Super Mario, Sid, it's going to be tough.
Awesome.
If he gets to 900 or close to 900, do you think that becomes the national media? Like if he's, you said.
I think so. I think the national media will be if he decides to play long enough and the pace he had from 700 to 800, if he continues that pace, 900 to 1,000, if 8 to 900 and then 900 to 1,000 is not out of the question. But he has to keep playing like Brady keeps playing and putting up 50-goal seasons. That's really tough to do.
How old is he right now?
I think he's like 37.
I mean, Jaromir Jagr's still out there playing, and he's 55. So we got like 20 more years of Ovi. Goals, baby.
Yeah, I mean, he's 37, so he's got time. It all depends on how long he wants to play, and I know he definitely wants to pass Gretzky. So,
that's gonna be insane.
It's gonna be insane when he does. Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, Jim, we'll let you go, man. Appreciate you hopping on, talking with us as every Monday. Always appreciate it.
Jim.
Have a great Christmas.
Have a good one, man. Yeah.
Hey, have a good one, guys. Thanks. Have a good Christmas. Happy holidays to everybody, and thanks for having me on always here on a Monday.
Thanks, Jim.
Right.
Thank you. Bye.
Jim Biringer, guys. So, Johnny, you got a couple more minutes? We okay?
Yeah, I got a couple more, man. I'll give you a couple more.
You got enough in the beer, you should be good still.
Yeah, it should be good. I got a little bit left in here, yeah.
All right. Well, hey, let's do a little talk. We'll talk a little Dolphins here. All right. I know you have your show. You talk Dolphins all the time, but we kind of wanted a little insight here.
Okay.
Is this defense going to get any better?
No. I don't. Okay. I mean, there's just too many injuries in the secondary for them to get any better. I mean, we're counting on an undrafted free agent from a Division II school, Kader Kohu, who has played well. You know what I'm saying? But X is playing with two messed up groins. So unless Bradley Chubb actually starts doing what we need him to do, you know what I'm saying, the defense isn't going to get much better. They're not playing all that bad. They just can't get off the damn field on third downs. But
no, they can't.
I don't know if that's a Josh Boyer thing. But I mean, they're not going to get any better, man. We're just going to have to we need Tua in the offense to score points. That's why it's so critical to establish some type of a running game so that you can take a little pressure off of Tua. But the defense, the defensive line has done well as far as run stopping, but we just got to be able to put a little bit more pressure. I mean, we did a decent job against Justin Herbert and Josh Allen. They just are they're mobile enough to get away. You know what I mean? But hopefully we do what we got to do against Aaron Rodgers and the boys, and then it's just a matter. We just got to win 2 out of these next 3.
Who's
when we got
games after Green Bay?
We go to New England, and then we got the Jets at home. So even if we lose to the Packers, God forbid we lose to the Packers, we could still get in if we beat, the two divisional teams. So
I really hope. I mean, I just want somebody to put the Packers out of their misery, and it's just not happening. Nobody I just really do.
That's what it is.
I'm telling you, they just keep giving me this just enough hope. We're coming for you, baby. We're here, and I gotta keep telling myself, my brain says don't fall for it, but my goddamn heart is like, oh yeah, if we could just thinking about it, Johnny's over here talking bad about how bad the Miami defense is. I'm like, Aaron Rodgers, and we got.
Aaron Rodgers ain't as mobile. Aaron Rodgers ain't as mobile as Josh Allen. But you know what I'm saying. But he's still Aaron freaking Rodgers. You know what I'm saying. So I told you weeks ago that it worries me. To be playing Aaron Rodgers, especially if it's any type of a meaningful game for him. Because if you win this game, you're 6-8. You're right behind Detroit.
Yeah.
So
and we played Detroit.
Yeah, but their issue is they got the Dolphins, they got Minnesota, and they got Detroit. Those are 3 teams that could easily come out and beat the Packers.
Yeah, we would probably not be favored we might be favored because that Detroit game's in Green Bay. Depending.
So it's the Minnesota game.
Yeah, it's going to be depending on how
it's going to be cold.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that don't mean nothing. I mean,
so Johnny, if you don't mind hanging around a minute, we'll talk maybe a little Yankees here.
Yeah, man. Go ahead, man. I haven't spoken to Jonathan in a hot minute, man. Go ahead.
Right. All right, guys. Let's bring him in here. Finishing early from practice. and hopping on. Jonathan Grishman. Jonathan, what's up, dude? Is
What's
it cold
up,
down
guys?
What's
I'm
going
cold,
on?
man.
What up? What
Hey,
up?
I know you Northerners, y'all deal with cold all the time, and don't judge me. 50 degrees is what the temperature is here, about 50, 45.
Man, you're acting like it's 20
And
out.
I'm
Yeah.
freezing.
Hey, it's supposed to be like negative. It's supposed to be like 3 degrees here on Friday. With that doesn't include the wind chill. So
There's a
Negative,
reason
yeah, it's
I-
like negative 30.
There's a reason I live in the South is to avoid these temperatures.
That's exactly why I left New York, was to get away from that damn cold, man. So
Hey,
I don't miss it at all, man.
I want to go ahead, stop burying away this weather talk. Go ahead and give me the details on the Cubs' best signing in the last 2 years, baby.
Hey, they had two
Tell me
great
what I
signings,
need to
right?
know. You can go ahead and you can send me your Dansby jersey, baby, and I'll rock it in the house, Jonathan. Tell me all about what I can expect from Dansby going into the year. Great shortstop at defense. Now we can move Nico Horner to second, and we got the best shortstop and second baseman in all of baseball, right, baby? The Cubs are back, baby. We're back, baby.
Isn't Chris Bryant playing third too?
No, Chris Bryant is with the Rockies.
Oh, this
5
my
years
bad.
ago.
You're off a year.
I'll
My
say
bad.
this: look, the Cubs made a move that they had to make. Now, we've talked about the Cubs with their future, as far as what their plan is, as far in being able to be competitive. They made a move that they had to make and get a top level player who was left in free agency. He is a great defensive shortstop, and he should have won a Gold Glove this year, and based off of how he played, and it's a shame he didn't get the Gold Glove. I don't think he won it, actually, but is he a player that you are going to build your franchise around? And the Cubs are paying him to do that. My only thing is, and there's a reason why the Braves did not go anywhere near the $170 million that the Cubs paid, is because there is flaws to Dansby's game. He's been that way his entire career. Offensively, he is a average hitter, and he had a great year this year, and it was still above average type of compared to Correa, compared to Bogarts, compared to the elite level shortstops, Turner, that are one of the best offensive hitters at the position. He was still around the average to above average on the numbers wise. So that's one thing that you're paying for great leadership. And I don't think there's a player that I think there's second to none to Dansby Swanson as far as leadership wise. He's a great leader, and he filled the void of Freddie Freeman leaving for the Braves for 2022. He did exactly what his job was supposed to be. You're getting a great defensive shortstop, but are you paying $170 million for just a defensive shortstop who is elite level? And he's going to be, an average hitter, because here's the thing, the scouting report on him. He's a great fastball hitter. Are you going to pitch him fastballs that much in 2023? I don't see a lot doing that. And he struggles with sliders. He struggles with off-speed pitches. He chases a lot. His chase rate was down in 2022, and it was a lot lower than what his normal chase rate is. So I'm rooting for Dansby. Just like I did root for Freddie, despite he leaving for LA. I'm rooting for Dansby to have a successful career. I wonder though if you got the peak of his time and what he tried on a contract year. Is that normally what Dansby's going to be from here on out? Did he figure it out? He's going to continue to grow and get better, or are we going to see the normal Dansby non-contract year and start kind of reverting back to some old habits of his? And that's the question that the Cubs are going to have to figure out offensively for him. Defensively, yeah, they got probably the best middle infield defensively in baseball, and I don't think that's an argument. But you're not paying $170 million for just a defensive shortstop.
Jonathan, I feel like the Cubs, if they can get a guy that can hit .251, .274, .248, and .277 in his last 4 seasons, I feel like this is an upgrade exactly from what they got. I feel like Dansby doesn't have to go out and be the legit, 300 plus guy. Like if he can hover around that 250 to 280 mark, I think the Cubs will be happy.
I think I think the floor needs to be 270.
I was about to say, bro, yeah, man, you can't
Yeah.
say 250. He's got to hit 270, 280.
I liked the deal though, because it wasn't why it's 170 million. It's only for 7 years. It wasn't the 300 million that Correa got. I thought the Giants paid way too much. 13 years for Correa. Turner 300. I thought it was a reasonable deal. We had to pay a little bit, like you said. We paid a little bit more. Had to because number one, you're competing with a couple other teams, so you have to overbid. You have to overbid the Braves, who he was in talks with, the Giants, allegedly, a couple other teams. So you're going to have to overpay. Number two, you got to satisfy the fan base, because it was reported that Ricketts said, "Go out and spend money, Jed," and then Jed's coming back looking like, "Oh, well, this is what I got. I got you Cody Bellinger, and he batted 190 and 200 strikeouts last year. I got him on a 1 year
big
deal."
bat, though.
I mean, he could turn it around, though. He can turn it around.
Well, and remember, the shift is gone in 2023.
Right.
So that 190 average of Bellinger is gonna go up to 230, 240, possibly. Right. You know, and I think that's going to be right where he is more, because again, the shift's gone. So you're going to have that hole in that 3.5 hole between first and second that is open now. You know, so you're going to see a little bit more higher averages in the game with someone like a Bellinger, like a Joey Gallo is another one similar to that. You're going to see, so that 190 average is not going to be 190. It's going to be probably about a 220, 230-ish average for Bellinger, and you know, with the power numbers that's still there.
He might hit you 40, bro.
Yeah. So I
hear you saying Cubs are making the playoffs next year. Thanks.
I think. Look, I think it depends on his health, right? So he hasn't really played a full season the last couple of years. Besides last year, he played 156 games, but he played under 100 games the last 2 years before that. And like his big years were when he played 160 plus. So I think it depends. His health depends where he's at, because this guy can turn around and be a great bat. You know, a guy that can clean up easy. But can he be on the field consistently going forward? So like his injury is already starting to hit already this young. Can he be the guy that gives you the 156 plus?
No, absolutely.
Where are they going to play him? Where are they going to play him, you think, John?
For Bellinger?
I think you got to keep him out of center field. Don't
no. Left or right. Man. Left or right.
Well, who's the center fielder for the Cubs right now?
It's a great question.
Nick? That's your team, bro. Is he frozen or he's?
I think he's frozen. He got so excited that his internet froze on him.
That's gonna be the question. That's gonna be the question.
I mean, because he could play a little bit of first.
Could be
if you want to try to save if you want to try to save him from injury, you put him at first.
Well, that's gonna be the question: is who's the center fielder for the Cubs moving forward? And if that's gonna be the question, if you have somebody who's in play that can be a legit center fielder, then yeah, you keep him out. You play him at first base. You can play him in left field and kind of and protect him out there to where he doesn't have to cover the ground.
Right. So you got Ian Happ, right, or Ian Happ right there, right?
Ian Happ is their center fielder.
Ian would be
the
center
Christian Morel.
So yeah, he'll be a left fielder more likely for the Cubs, and I think that's a better spot for him in a small compared to LA. He's not going to have as much ground to cover, especially playing in left field. So that's going to be something that's going to protect him a little bit more with those injuries. And then you give him some time at first base if his legs are tired throughout the season, and you give him the time to DH. So there's options that you can do, Bellinger, and you can protect him and keep him healthy in that aspect of.
That's true. Yeah.
No, I agree there. I agree. And the Cubs making a move like this is so huge too, like for that franchise. And I think Jonathan, you and I talked about it, middle of the season. This is not a Royals kind of, small market franchise. This should be a big name franchise. The name is Chicago, one of the biggest cities in the nation. There's no reason why this team is not spending money out on players. There's no reason why, the New York Mets are spending money and the Cubs aren't. The White Sox should be doing the same damn thing, honestly. So,
would you look at the teams that are the bigger teams and with the cities that have two teams? New York, LA, Chicago. You always have the one team of those cities that is the big spender, is the big mark, the big team of the city.
Correct. And the Cubs are.
and the Cubs are that. They are the main team. I know the White Sox are there too, but if you talk about who's the team of the city, for New York it's the Yankees, for LA it's the Dodgers, for Chicago it's the Cubs, and they don't act like it at times, and that's the sad part about that franchise for decades is they don't act like they are the big team of the city. They don't act like they're the big market team that they should be compared to those two other cities. So it's really held them back because they should have had they should have sustained more success from their World Series year. They should have been able to sustain it because of where they are and market wise, and they didn't do that, and that's the sad part. I think that Cubs fans can really drop their head on for their front office and for their ownership is we won a World Series first time in over 100 years. Why did we not sustain that success and build from it?
They didn't want to pay their guys, man. I didn't understand that.
But that's the question. Why? If you're in that big market, you sell out. I mean, you sell out games. You have WGN as your TV network, so you're not sitting. You're not like those other teams that have very terrible TV contracts. WGN is a good contract for the Cubs. Please tell me if I'm wrong, Vic.
We're not on WGN no more.
No, it's gone. Yeah, WGN's gone.
So how long?
But they did have their own network essentially.
Okay, but how long ago? So correct me if how long ago was that? They're off at WGN because I thought that was
about 2016. Right around the time they broke off from WGN, started this own marquee network. The problem is that's what they'll list a bunch of things like the network didn't take off, COVID, this. Which I mean, but every team went through COVID, so that's no excuse to me.
But what happened was
Ricketts.
You have other aspects.
Soccer team, yes.
You have other aspects to make revenue. That's the thing about it. You have other aspects to make revenue around the ballpark.
Yes,
absolutely.
I was gonna say, especially at the gate.
I've been to Wrigley. I've been to Wrigley just a few years ago. And I mean, Wrigleyville, all over the place. Like all the places, all the bars, everything. You're finding ways to make money out of there. So the revenue is coming in. You're selling out games. You're not struggling to have fans come watch the team play. Even when they struggle, you're still having a good amount of seats taken. So there should be no reason that the Cubs don't spend money because they are making money. The Braves, I'm using the Braves example being my team, when they built Truist, they built the Battery outside of the stadium, and that is they're just swimming in cash because of the revenue that's being brought in by outside of the stadium, being by the Battery, selling out games and being competitive to do it. And their ownership is sitting there going, yeah, we're making money. Let's go spend money now. And they're able to do it. They're able to, sign, bring in Matt Olson, assign Austin Riley to extension, assign Harris to extension, Strider to extension, Acuna, Albies, all under contract extensions, and they're spending money because of what their success, not just on the ball, on the field, but in the stands with the fans, and also outside it with the Battery. They're making money for it. The Cubs have to do the same. I mean, they have the structure outside the stadium with Wrigleyville that they're making money off of. They need to continue to find ways to spend money because that's the part of that I don't understand. Being a big market team, the biggest team in your city, and you're not acting like it.
Right. And they should have gone the same route as Atlanta and paid that core young and lock them up for several years. You guarantee those young, you guarantee Baez and them money early. You would still have some of those guys, but I don't know, man.
Man, that's like we're talking about the Royals back in 14
it's
and 15.
It's sad.
You lock it up and be competitive again.
I mean,
amen.
Hey, by the way, what are the Royals saying? Anybody heard? Oh yeah, nothing.
Let's get off the Cubs talk.
Andrew Benintendi
they got a bunch,
back
they
with
got a bunch
Chicago
of good young
on the
players.
White Sox
They got
now.
some good young players.
Benintendi going to the White Sox for big money.
Yeah, the biggest contract in White Sox history.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
The 75 million. Wow.
Like Benintendi, like he's a good, he's a good player, but he's not a guy to break.
That's not a bad contract. For
but
him,
you let Jose Abreu walk, go to the Astros, and then you bring in Benintendi. That's the thing that you let your probably your best player on the team outside of Tim Anderson, and you bring in a good player in Benintendi, but not someone who's going to lead the team.
Right.
You know, that didn't make any sense to me.
Tony La Russa in the front
Moncano's
office.
pretty good though. He's
They
too
still,
busy
the
drunk
White Sox
at the
still got some
North.
young, they still got some young pieces. Like, with Robert and Jimenez and Mankato, but you still had Abreu, who he's still gonna hit. He's gonna play really good for the Astros, and that just, I mean, you throw that bat in there with Alvarez and Altuve and Pena now. So I mean, that's just makes that Astros team even more scary with Abreu there now.
Right. Hey, let's. I got a question for you with Johnny in here. Then Carlos Rodon goes to the Yankees, loads up that rotation up. I guess. I mean, can the Yankees be hands down favorites this year?
Well, I told y'all last week that if Rodon signs with the Yankees, I'm terrified about that deal. That just you have a guy who can be a number one now being a number two behind Garrett Cole, and that extends that rotation more. That now puts Nestor basically being a 3 or 4 pitcher, which he was a number 2 this year, because Severino, his health is up and down. You don't know. What you're going to get with Severino very much. Severino's ceiling is really good as a number 2. Now you have Rodon; he can be a 3 or 4, and the pressure's not necessarily there for Severino. Nestor Cortez is going to be a 3 or 4, so that rotation just got a whole lot scary. Yeah, adding a lefty pitcher and Rodon into that mix, who you're going to get, an innings eater at that spot. He's going to go get his time. He doesn't have an injury history. It's a matter of him going to just pitch and do his job, and that's something that he has done quite a bit over the last few years. Again, the question is, as someone who's not from that area, who's not pitched in New York, is he going to handle the New York spotlight? That's always the question. So in essence, it's a different animal. We've said that before. How's he going to handle the spotlight a little bit more on him? And trying to, as far as being that pitcher that they need behind Garrett Cole. Because we all know if he struggles a little bit, that media is going to be eating him up a little bit more and more as he goes. So, but to answer, that scares me. That the Rodon signing for the Yankees absolutely terrifies me. That the Yankees got better pitching, and that was always their Achilles heel last year and the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's definitely something that they needed to do. I don't think he'll have as much pressure on him because of Garrett Cole, because he'll be able to just be the number 2. I mean, there's always going to be pressure because of the contract and coming to the Yankees, but I think the fact that he's coming in to be the number 2 is going to kind of help him out a little bit. And like you said, it's going to extend that rotation, so it's definitely going to help out. But my thing is, we need some more contact hitters in our lineup. You know what I'm saying? There's too many strikeouts in this lineup. I'm glad they re-signed Judge, because you definitely want to keep the face of your franchise there, and he's a good overall player. Say he makes good contact. He doesn't just hit home runs. He bats for average and stuff. But that's the reason why I wanted Benintendi, because I'm saying he's a contact hitter. You need to sprinkle in a couple of those and not have as many strikeouts as they've had. I mean, in the 4 games that they lost, that they got swept by Houston, I think they struck out like 50-something times in 4 games. That's insane, man. So, hopefully, they're going to bring up a couple of the young kids to finish off the roster. I mean, I wouldn't be there's talk about, like, I heard the craziest rumor I heard is that they might try to see if they can take Tatis away from San Diego. So if they try to do something like that, because San Diego's going to want to pay Juan Soto.
I've heard that too. No.
I've heard that too. They're going to want to pay Juan Soto. So, what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know that the Yankees will pull that off.
No.
But, what I'm saying?
way.
We definitely need more contact in our lineup, in my opinion. That's why I was hoping for Benintendi, because he's a 300 hitter. We got enough power. We need guys that can actually make contact, get on base, steal some bases, and do stuff like that, man.
So who goes to San Diego if that happens?
I think you send everybody except for Jason Dominguez. Even if you got to throw in Gleyber Torres, I would say Gleyber Torres, and then you put DJ LeMahieu at second base.
Well, you got to make the money make sense, and that's a $300 million contract that Tatis is on. So the money's got to make sense too. I mean, you're almost having to trade Stanton. You almost got to find a way.
That's fine.
You almost have to trade Stanton into that deal, along with.
Fine. I never wanted Stanton.
I mean, along with prospects on top of it, I think that's going to be. But I don't. I think the Padres are going to sit. They're going to sit on Tatis and kind of see how he is after his suspension ends after 20 games, and they want to see what he can do in left field. I'm sure, and be able to go from there. If things don't really work out, if it doesn't pan out, obviously, the main priority for San Diego is to sign Soto. Is to sign him to an extension and not have to worry about him in the future, but you have also Machado's talking about opting out in 2023. So the money that if he opts out, the money that is frees up for his opt out may go to Soto at that. So you may not have to unload on Tatis. So there's potential as far as what they can do if they really want to go down that road of Soto. Kind of play out the season and let your lineup be with Tatis in there and see how he plays. And then if it goes down to it where Machado he opts out, then you have some money that frees up from there.
Yeah. Another thing I heard is Tommy Pham. I would take Tommy Pham to play left field. He's a good, he's a good player, contact hitter, runs the bases. We just need somebody to catch the ball in left field and to make some contact on offense. Bro, you're going to win the game. Calm down, bro.
Interception return?
You're really worried about the Rams,
They
bro.
got the interception. No, they got the interception.
Oh, he
pitched
it back.
Then he fumbles it.
He was trying to pull a Patriots, man.
Yes, exactly.
So I want to ask, since we have the Yankee fan in here, because I saw this story about the baseballs that were used this year in 2022. And that apparently the Yankees got used some of the juiced baseballs, particularly for Aaron Judge. What do you think as far as that story?
Do you really think that Aaron Judge needed juiced baseballs? I mean, come on. You know what I'm saying? So I don't.
Well, hold on. Did we not see in Houston a ball that he hit that got caught at the warning track?
I mean, that's going to happen though. But to say that the whole season was they were just using juice balls for him. Come on, man.
It's juice balls in a little league stadium, right? That's what's the point?
Is this coming from the Royals fan?
What are we doing?
Come on, man. Coming from the Royals fan.
I'm curious as to know why. Why, what is the, I agree with you. He doesn't need Aaron Judge, 6'8", 280. He's LeBron James with a baseball bat. He doesn't need a juice ball. So why do it? Why is Major League Baseball trying to do that?
Why do we got to draw storylines?
Because Major League Baseball is one of the stupidest organizations ever, bro. They don't know how to market their players, and they always make the wrong move when there's no need to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like I love baseball. I love baseball to my core, but they always find a way to just look dumb.
I agree with that.
Craziest stuff, man. I don't know, man.
I agree with that because they do everything wrong to try to keep up with the NFL's popularity. The 90s, they absolutely shot themselves in the foot with the strike. Yeah. And they couldn't recover from the strike. They couldn't recover from that. So they found ways to try to get the popularity back. To keep up, because they knew the NFL's popularity was rising. They knew it. Everybody in the 90s, in the late 90s and early 2000s knew the NFL was becoming a very popular sport. Yep. And you had the Bulls run in the 90s that they had to compete with as well with Jordan. And the Major League Baseball just absolutely ruined themselves with that strike. So they had to find ways to get themselves popular with the home run chases and everything.
So they let everybody choose.
Shot themselves in the foot with that. They lied about that. So here we are now, fast forward to 2021, 2022. They're tampering with baseballs, and they're finding ways to screw themselves up here when you're trying to do things to create popularity, but at the same time, you're taking one step forward, two steps back by changing rules, changing the equipment, changing the baseballs, making things so complicated in the process. You're not able to get the general fan. And that's where Major League Baseball, where Rob Manfred, he thinks he's getting the general fan, but he's not. He's not. And you have these scandals this issues and scandals that pop up, it turns more people away from it because you don't know what's real.
Right. And it's so unnecessary. Like, why are you messing with the baseballs, man? Just leave it alone. I like, I like the rule change with the getting rid of the shift. I like that because, you know what I'm saying? I mean,
big fart noises
because unfortunately, because of analytics, guys don't know how to hit it the other way anymore.
But
everybody.
But
is
that's
just
what baseball is, man.
and it sucks. Like I said,
but-
I don't like this game anymore. I don't like. I mean, I love the game, but I don't
You
like
want
watching it
runs.
anymore.
I had to train myself to hit opposite field. I had to train
feel
myself to be
you.
able to work myself. It's not hard to do. That's the thing. It's not,
I feel you, but
here's the thing.
that's not what
Joey
they're getting
Gallo-
paid to do. They're telling them swing as hard as possible, launch angles, and home runs.
Then
You
they
know
need to
what I'm
go. Then they need to go back. They need to go back to where they had the shift and just say, hey, you can be more successful when you hit the ball opposite field because you have 80 feet of room. Hit a line drive in the opposite field gap, and guess what? In the process of doing it, you'll make more money because your stats are better.
You're catering to professional baseball players. Little leaguers learn this.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Because the analytics was being told. They told these players, hey, and this is the truth of it. You can get more popular when you hit 40, 50 home runs.
Right.
The general fan does not care about your batting average. They care about what your home runs are. The problem is nobody wants to pay $100 or whatever the ticket is to go to a baseball game and see 16, 17 strikeouts. That's the problem of it. You want more offense? If you want more offense, don't sit there and say strikeouts are fine. We don't care about that. We'd rather you strike out 16 times a game if a team's going to hit 2 home runs, 3 home runs compared to 17 strikeouts. That's not entertaining. That wasn't entertaining, and that's what screwed this whole thing up with analytics. Major League Baseball those computer whizzes that and I'm old school. I am.
Yes,
I'm a 33
I feel you,
old
man.
school.
I'm with you on that one.
Go hit the ball. Go hit the ball like Tony Gwynn did, like Pete Rose did. Those guys who made the game what it was in the 80s and the early 90s, and go beat because they scored runs back then. Yes. It wasn't 1-0, 2-0 every ball game. They still scored a lot of runs in that time frame. Yep. You're not scoring a lot of runs on a night basis. You're seeing more shutouts or 2-1 ball games because nobody
no hitters. How many no hitters are you getting now? Because everybody, like I said, I totally agree with you, bro. Analytics, you got all these nerds. God forgive me, you got all these nerds that have never played ball that are running teams now.
But the thing about
everything is numbers, and the thing about it too is that they don't have to be accountable for nothing because all they got to say is, "Hey, the numbers say that we should do this." It's the numbers.
If you use analytics the right way, it's a tool.
Absolutely.
But you can't just like every other aspect of the game is a tool.
Right. You can't live or die by the analytics, man.
Correct. And that's what they've done. And you have the franchises over the last 5-6 years, the Dodgers, the Braves,
Yankees are all
Yankees as well. The teams that are successful have realized that. I said this to the guys before, where the Dodgers they have a analytics department and a baseball department, and they sat down. It was like the 2018 season. They sat down with both departments in the same room and says, "You do your job, you do your job. Y'all have to work together." Right. You cannot separate yourself. You cannot say, I do this, I do that. You stay in your room, I stay in my room, you leave me alone. You have to work together to be successful. And that's why the Dodgers have been very successful. That's why the Braves have been very successful. Where you have baseball guys like Ron Washington sit there and say, I know the game. I know what I'm supposed to be doing fielding-wise. I know what I'm supposed to be doing. But guess what? I do need to understand analytics. Let's work together on that side of it. Right. And that's when those organizations are very successful because they understand you have to have the baseball guys understand analytics, and you have to have the analytical guys know that the baseball guys have their job too.
Facts.
I've learned it's so much
like
that.
Choir,
it's learning both sides of the spectrum essentially for that. So it's a big change going in the baseball world right now. But just between all the data
they have to do something, man. This 3 outcome thing it's making the game boring, man. Like I got 3 boys and they all play little league and they'll go to a game with me. But they will not watch a game on TV for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because it's either strikeout, walk, or home run.
You can't really watch a game on TV in your local area because Bally's got it blacked out. So what's the point? So I'm not going to get into that tonight about the MLB and the TV issues going into play. I'm watching other games apparently, but not my Royals.
I miss contact. I miss guys going from first to third. I miss hitting runs. I miss stolen base. Like that was exciting. watching Ricky steal close to 100 bases, that was fun, man. Now it's just,
now
everybody, like
we're
I said, everybody's swinging as hard as possible, and you know what I'm saying? It's just,
and
I
now
guess
we're barely able to get 30 stolen bases as a league leader for and everything.
Right.
It was such a big accomplishment to have 40 stolen bases by Ronald Acuna leading the National League with 40, and you're sitting back 20 years ago, 40 was middle of the pack.
Right. That was that was at the All-Star break. You know what I'm saying? Crazy, man. It's a different game, man. It's a totally different game now.
It's what it is. Even talking to my brother, he's the hitting coach for the Brewers and stuff. So even talking with him, it's just amazing the stuff that he has to go through, just between all the different departments, all the different stuff he needs to get and stuff like that. So it's pretty crazy what it is.
Like Jonathan said, there's got to be a good balance, man. There's got to be a good balance of analytics and actual baseball knowledge. And sometimes you got to go with what you got. You got to, what I'm saying? They forget that it's human beings playing the game. It ain't a bunch of robots. So you can have all the numbers you want, but there's a feel to the game.
There's that human error in the play. Guess what?
Yeah,
that's
man,
what it is.
You got to, you know what I'm saying?
You'll kind of see some of the olden game go back a little bit this year with the shift gone. You're going to see some guys that do a little bit more because you have a little bit more holes now because you're not having the three infielders on one side. You're playing normal baseball, so you're going to see a little bit of aspect of. You'll have the guys like I said, like Gallo and Biringer, who are still who they are, and they're going to continue to be who they are.
Right.
But you saw this past year where you saw more guys like Freddie Freeman being one who he was really hitting the ball opposite field. He's a pull hitter, but he can go oppo. So you'll see small sample size of what the old days were with hitting because that's what's trying to. There's going to start seeing a frustration in the offices of guys striking out. You're going to start seeing there's conversations already happening about it. We're striking out too much.
I mean, that used to be an embarrassment to strike
Tony
out.
Gwynn,
Now it's like,
Gwynn, right? Like, look at a guy
now it's like
Gwynn,
they don't care. Oh my God!
And that's the thing, and that's what you're going to see. There will be a shift. Everything's cyclical in baseball. Yeah, you're going to see. We're in the middle of this cycle of where we're at in this game. At some point, someone's going to be enough. It's going to be the first one to say, enough of the strikeouts. We have to change the philosophy. Let's be the ones to do it. And then the pattern goes to others doing the same thing because when that team, and I think we kind of see it with the Astros. The Astros didn't strike out all that much, particularly in the postseason.
And they're very analytical, but at the same time, when it's it's situational baseball. When it's time, when you need to move the runner over, move the runner over. And I think that's what Boston did when they won their World Series a couple years ago. Joey Cora, they were all about analytics, but when it came down into the postseason, he went with his gut and he played guys that were hot at the time. He didn't worry about analytics. So you got to be able to, you got to have a good balance, like I said, of the two, man. So like your Royals, Tanner. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't a home run hitting team. They stole bases, they made contact, they played good defense, and you got a title out of it. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, the Braves in 2021 were the exception, where they were a home run, and we're gonna live by the home run, and they got good fortunes that they were able to do what they did with offensively, hitting just home run after home run after home run and scoring the runs they did. They had a lot of good fortune on that, but they were the exception to the rule. And I said how the Astros were offensively this World Series, particularly, and even the postseason run where they didn't strike out very much, especially if we talk about the Yankees series, where I think they only struck out. I think it was like there was a couple times where they struck out only like 4 times or something like that in a game. I
heard about that.
You're gonna see the pattern start happening where guys are these.
I hope so, man.
The front offices and everybody was sitting there saying, "Okay, this is enough. We can't keep doing this because this is not good for the game." Somebody's going to be the first one to do it. Maybe the Astros in 2022 are the ones that starts this pattern where we go back to a little bit more of the old school way.
I hope so, man. I hope so. I miss because like I said, I love. Baseball is down to my core. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Puerto Rican kid born in the Bronx, man. So, you know what I'm saying? I love baseball, bro. I love baseball, but this isn't the same game that I grew up playing and watching.
No,
so
it's not.
It's hard to watch, man. Like I said, I don't blame my kids for not wanting to watch the games. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing, Johnny, right? So nowadays, right? 2022, 2020, whatever year you want to stay in the 20s here, we have so much data around right now. So much data that we've never had before. Now they're trying to figure out how to balance it around, how to provide it to the coaches, how to provide it to the players without essentially doing what we're talking about, which is, ruining just playing baseball. So it's more of, trying to use it as a resource more than as a clutch kind of deal right now. And I think that's the thing they're working out on balancing. You got some clubs that love it to death. They will analytic you. I don't know what to say, but you know what I mean. They're going to use data
Right.
like it's nothing,
Right.
and then their coaches aren't going to worry about it. Versus some other clubs, you're going to see a lot of, hey, we're going to go play baseball. Hey, swing it this way, kind of thing,
Right.
and they're going to try to use it as a resource. I think that's what we're looking at. Right
like
now.
Jonathan said, you use it as a tool, just like
Correct.
anything else.
And we're working. I think the MLB currently is working
I
on
hope so, man.
all the clubs, all the coaches, all
I
the
hope
guys
so.
are like, hey, how can we do, a combo of both? And I think that's what we're in right now. This kind of era is like
so.
there is so much data. I mean, you're talking about like looking at a guy's drop. Right?
That's fine to have all that data, but again, when you live or die by the numbers, strictly the numbers,
correct. That's the issue.
And you're
right?
taking out the feel of the game.
You're taking out baseball.
There's no accountability because they could always fall back on, oh well, the numbers said that we should do that, so nobody's held accountable for it.
Well, I mean, numbers are going to be wrong. I mean, it's percentages,
right? But I mean,
right?
I'm just saying, as far as like, I don't know, man. Like I said,
so it's a lot of balancing is what you're going to see here in probably the next 10 years of all the numbers that they can get, all the data they can get, to all the coaching they can do.
Well, nobody's being held accountable. I'll say nobody's being held accountable because the ones who are making decisions are the ones who are pushing it. That's
right. That's what I'm saying.
The general manager today is the main one who is pushing all the buttons as far as how the philosophy of the organization is supposed to be, how the philosophy of the lineup is supposed to be, how you're supposed to be structured with the scouting and what you're looking for particularly. It's the general manager. And he's the one who's running the show with this. And he's the one who's going to the owner saying, hey, what we're doing is working. Well, why is the wins and losses not showing it? Oh, but it's going to happen but our numbers are showing that what we're doing is working because of how the success that some players are having. Yeah, the wins and losses don't show, but they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. The numbers are averaging out to be what they are. And that's where the accountability is not there because those are the ones who are making decisions. I mean, some of the owners, we had, John Henry for the Red Sox. He is pushing for this. We want this. We want this to be. We want this to be. We want this to be. So why would you fire somebody when the success does not happen? You're pushing for that person to do what you want. Why would you fire that person? So the decision makers are the ones who are pushing for this. And you're starting to see, I think you're going to start seeing here in the next few years that baseball is going to shift. It's going to start becoming more on field than what we've seen in the last 5 to 10 years.
I hope so, man. I
hope so. Back to a little bit of the older
pendulum. That would be great, back and forth, one way to the extreme. Now it's coming back to the other way because of they're realizing that this way wasn't all the way working. So now it's going to go all the way back. I mean, it's just a cycle.
Yeah, it is. Like I said, we're looking at a 10-year transition for a lot of stuff. So it's what I'm thinking in my mind. So
hopefully it don't take 10 years, man.
Hey, I know the game might be dead by then.
I'm getting old, man. You know what I'm saying?
Game might be dead by then.
Years, man, for real.
Oh man, that's insane. It's insane the changes. Johnny, Nick, you got anything else?
Nick is all in the game.
I'm like, I know the Packers are in. Do you got anything else for MLB?
No.
Nick?
Okay. No, I'm good.
Okay. Sorry, your internet's a little delayed, so.
Yeah, my internet's messing up. The Packers are playing,
It's cold, dude. It's cold.
How does that work? You're a Chicago fan, but you're a Green Bay Packer fan. How does that work?
Weird.
So I can't have so much losing in my life, Jonathan. So in the fall, the Packers came back up after watching the Cubs stink all summer long. So that's how that works out.
I mean,
you're an Iowa fan for college?
Yeah, I was born in Iowa. My whole family's from Iowa, so that's kind of also how the Cub thing comes into play.
You didn't want to be a fan of Rex Grossman and Kyle Orton and all those great quarterbacks the Chicago Bears have had.
Nope. I mean, Brett Favre's one of my favorite players growing up a kid. Reggie White too. So that's how I put it all together. Yeah.
Kill Mississippi. Kill Mississippi native.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly how a kid from New York is a Dolphin fan, is because of Dan Marino. He's the only reason why. And plus, a lot of my friends were Jet fans, so it just made it that much better to go against.
You just got annoyed with the Giants Jets drama all the time, right?
Yeah, I didn't want to deal with that. I didn't want to deal with none of that, man.
Plus, y'all just spoiled with all those quarterbacks. We only had Drew Brees in the recent years. I mean, we had the down times of
that's true.
Werfel and Billy Joe Obear and
Aaron Brooks. I remember Aaron Brooks.
Aaron Brooks, yeah.
Aaron Brooks, Jeff Blake. My goodness gracious.
Yes.
You talk about a quarterback list that makes you cry.
Speaking of, since we're talking about it. Why aren't they playing Jameis? Why aren't they playing Winston, bro?
So that's an interesting question. For a while, it was because he wasn't healthy. Now there's talk that he did an interview with one of the local beat writers and he said, he called him out, basically called out Dennis Allen, the coach, says, I lost my job because I was hurt, which is not supposed to happen.
Right.
So he's essentially being punished by the coaching staff, saying why would you do this? Why would you do that interview? And essentially throw the coaching staff under the bus. That's not professional. So there's a conversation that he's kind of being punished and basically saying, hey, you said you lost your job. Okay. Yeah, you're right. You did lose your job now.
So you're gonna be petty and play Andy Dalton and not, not give the young guy a chance to possibly, because you ain't going nowhere with Andy Dalton.
I don't know if they're going anywhere with James.
But I'm just saying, at least his ceiling is higher. I mean, he's probably gonna throw 30 interceptions, but he'll throw 30 touchdowns as well.
His ceiling's higher, but his floor is a lot lower though, too, Johnny. Like that to me.
Well, we don't know. We know what he was like with Sean Payton.
Right.
We don't know what he's like with Pete Carmichael and Dennis Allen. So I can't necessarily say the ceiling is higher because the coaching staff is. The coaching staff I've completely soured on in New Orleans just for this season. After not even a full season, Sean Payton really ran the show in New Orleans, and it shows more and more each week just how great of a coach Sean Payton was in New Orleans. And you see the coaching staff didn't change. You still have the same people from last year, from the last 3 years. It's the same guys that's in the office. The only one is gone is Sean Payton. And it's absolutely miserable watching what's going on with this team. So I don't necessarily say, I almost think this is a blessing for Jameis not to play with this coaching staff right now, because I don't think they put him in a position to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with it.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Makes sense, man.
I think changes definitely are needed. Kamara's obviously very frustrated right now with that Saints team, not getting the touches, not inside, especially the red zone. This is a red zone guy.
He needs to go down to South Beach, man. Let Kamara go down to South Beach.
We normally trade running back. We normally trade running backs to Miami. We traded Reggie Bush years ago to Miami. So
we'll take him.
Ricky Williams was before that to Miami. So that might be in the cards some down the road that we end up trading Kamara, to the Dolphins just to follow the suit of what we did with Ricky and Reggie.
I'll take that.
As long as y'all take the salary, we'll be fine. That's a big debt we got to take.
That's fine. Our owner, even though our owner's a knucklehead, he's definitely got money, man. So it's not worried about that, bro.
Oh man, I don't know. This Saints off season should be pretty interesting. We talked about the Giants earlier, but this Saints off season should be.
Jameis is another one. He should be a free agent after this year. No.
2020 after 2023.
So you're punishing him, and you still got him under contract for another year,
right?
That's just come on, man. You're
right in the pie.
Spite your face, man.
Well, you know why Taysom's no longer. Why they moved Taysom to tight end full time? because of Sean Payton signing him to the extension that he did, that he's got an escalator clause in his contract that if he's a quarterback, if he's a starting quarterback, his contract goes to 5-year, $90 million. If he's a non-quarterback position, it's a 5-year, $50 million contract.
Wow.
So they're like, so with Sean gone, they say, yeah, you're a tight end. We're not paying you as a quarterback anymore.
You can talk about analytics. There you go.
Wow.
It's all
Who
over
was that?
the place.
No.
New Orleans is all over the place right now.
That's crazy, man.
This Watson better not score a touchdown. Either the Lizard King. I don't know where I'm at with my fantasy game. I was up by 10 facing Watson Lizard, and I am not needing a touchdown by either.
Lizard hasn't done anything. I was down 40, needed Aaron Jones to have the game of his life, and that failed. So there's that. So,
well, you might still get a touchdown from Aaron at least. So
he scored one earlier today, but
I benefited from Kirk Cousins and the 33-point comeback by the Vikings. That saved me to go to the next round in fantasy playoffs.
That's what I'm dealing against right now. Somehow I'm still up with that. And I have to deal with this whole Watson Lizard King deal on Monday Night Football, being up by 10 because Devontae Adams and Stephon Diggs gave me a combined total of 16 freaking points. Thank you, elite wide receivers.
I didn't have a single guy score a touchdown until Aaron Jones tonight, so I don't want to hear no complaints.
Wow,
not one.
I didn't even make the play. I didn't even make the playoffs, so I ain't got nothing to say about that, man.
Lenny Fournette, Joe Mixon. I mean, not one of them scored a freaking touchdown. So I had my absolute worst week when I needed them to have their best weeks.
Well, at least your Packers are going to win this game, bro.
Yeah, we'll lose the next Sunday. So,
all right, I got to get out of here, fellas.
All right, Johnny, I appreciate you joining.
John, it was good to talk to you, man. Right. I'm glad that there's another like-minded baseball fan out there, man. We need to get back to the old ways, man, for real.
Absolutely.
All right, fellas.
I appreciate it.
See you, Johnny. Thank you.
I'll talk to you guys later, bro.
See you, man.
All right.
And you go find Johnny at the Yankee Fan on Twitter. Jonathan, before we wrap up, man, how are off-season workouts still going well?
Yeah, it's going good. We had our last practice before Christmas, so we're going to be off for the next 2 weeks. We'll be off Christmas and New Year's. So we had our last one tonight. We have our last workout day tomorrow. We get some downtime. I get to have my last time of rest before I'm full speed ahead, and I work every day and coach every day, and I get no time to kind of stop for a second. So this is my enjoyable time to go home to New Orleans and kind of unwind a little bit. But everything's going good, man. We actually just got done. We volunteered at a toy drive as an organization Saturday. So it was we had 40 girls and boys volunteer. So it was our biggest sign up that we had for the organization to do. So giving back in the community was something that I've always it was a very important thing that I did when I grew up, and I did in college and pro ball, and I wanted to make sure that I passed that along to my athletes. And so every year we go to the we do one of the biggest toy drives in Dallas Fort Worth here, and we go and give back to the community. So that was a very huge thing for us and everything. We took time off that day, and so I gave the girls and boys no workouts or practices Saturday so we can go and just give back and everything. So it's been good. It's been going well. Everybody's kind of ready for this little break, and then we hit the ground running hard in January from there.
Hey, man, it sounds amazing there. And you're going on break at the right time with this big old frigid cold air coming into play. That's even going to be down your way. So
yeah, supposedly have a little bit of flurries here in Dallas Fort Worth too later this weekend. So it'll be a nice in New Orleans where it's 60 degrees and throughout down there. So I'll be happy. I'll be in the French Quarter a little bit, enjoying some downtime and some good food down there.
Awesome, man. Well, we hope you enjoy it. Have a great Christmas, man. We'll talk to you here. Hope maybe next week, maybe a week after. So appreciate you hopping on as always after practice. So
if next week, I'll make time for you guys, even down in New Orleans. I'll make time for you guys. Let me know. We'll make it happen.
Sounds good. I'll give you a yell.
Jonathan, appreciate it.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, Jonathan. All right, guys. As the Packers Rams game finishes up here, Nick, any final thoughts here? Like, I know you probably think the Packers are pretty much still done, but any final thoughts?
Nah, I mean they're doing exactly what I thought they would do. Give me just a little bit of hope, and then I just have to try to convince myself that we're going to lose to Miami. And if we beat Miami on Sunday, then I might be full back on the boat on the ship. But I'm trying to convince myself not to do that. So, here we are.
Try not to get ahead of the game, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm feeling you. Look, I'm just over here as a Chiefs fan, just hanging on. I don't want Cincy to get that 2 seed.
Are you worried? Are you worried about the Chiefs going forward? I mean, the close game, the last 2 weeks, right? Like, I mean,
Broncos, Texans. Broncos came back from 27 down, so no, I'm not. I'm not worried about the Chiefs winning. I'm worried about maybe them continuing to play down to competition. I think we're seeing a huge issue with that right now, and I don't know whether that's the enemy on the offensive side. I don't know if that's the defense doing that. I mean, we talked about it a little Sunday with the Texans guys, and I don't know. It's concerning. Don't get me wrong. You can't be down to teams like that. You can't be overtiming with a one in whatever team.
I get not covering the 14, right? Like that's
I mean, spread's a spread.
You can't go into overtime with the Texans.
Now, and I think what bothers me a little bit about this Chiefs team is the way they treat Pacheco. It's like you run him right 1 and 2, and then something happens, whether he didn't make the right cut, he fumbles the ball, or whatever, and then he's out for literally it feels like a quarter. At least, and maybe even a quarter and a half sometimes. And this is a guy that should be getting easily 20 plus carries in volume, right? And I think having the running game like McKinnon's popping on right about the right time we all expect for him, but Pacheco could be such a bigger weapon in that and give you such a great boost in the run game. But now you're relying on Patrick Mahomes to throw the ball 30 plus times every single game. So I don't know. I'm not concerned about us winning out. I'm just concerned about us having to make every game close.
Get it? Yeah.
So
I mean, I would be worried about the Bengals if I was anybody in the AFC. I think right now
correct.
They look like the best team in the AFC.
Damn Bengals, man.
And if they get that, they could get that number 1 seed. You're talking about the number 2 seed. They would own the tiebreaker of the Chiefs. They play the Bills on a Monday night next week.
I thought it was the final week, right? Or no?
I think it's the week after, or not this week, but next week.
Cincy. Cincy.
Usually that last week's all divisional games.
So yeah, you're right. So they got New England this coming on Christmas Eve. And then they got Buffalo on the Monday night, January 2nd. And then they got Baltimore to finish the season. So,
yeah.
Look,
they
beat Buffalo. They might have that one.
They will, because then that would give Buffalo another loss. They would all have 10-4, I think. The Chiefs have 3 or 4 losses.
They got
4, right?
4.
Buffalo.
Yeah. 3. We're 3.
So I guess the Chiefs would, if the
Chiefs would take the 1 seed,
yeah,
but we can't afford to lose essentially because we got Seattle, we got Denver, then we got Raiders to finish.
Yeah, so it's like the Chiefs would have to win out, but if the Chiefs faltered in one of these next 3 games and the Bengals win out, they would be the number 1 seed.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be an interesting finish for both sides of the division. So, well, Nick. Let's call it a night, man. Packers won. You should be happy for right now.
Yeah. Happy
for
until
now.
Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see what happens against the Dolphins. So, guys, here, a little change this week here for our game day show. You're going to catch us on Saturday, Christmas Eve in the morning. I think we're planning to start about 9 a.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern, and we'll go probably till the usual amount here till about 11:30 Central, 12:30 Eastern. I know Johnny's hopping on. Nick, I don't know if you're hopping on yet.
Yeah, I'm in.
Okay. So and my lights are about to fall in case you can't see that. they're slowly starting to fall apart on the tape. So it's good. It's a good time. But guys, catch us on the Game Dan Show. We have such a great lineup. Dan's already working on it. Excited to see what happens. But everybody have a fabulous Christmas week, and we'll catch you later. We'll see you guys. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to the Buffoons and Bakken Show. Make sure you hit that bell, subscribe, and follow for more content. Swing over to the Bakken Show, subscribe and follow for him, and then also swing over to Let's Talk Sports Network and go subscribe to him because it's phenomenal for what he does, and there's a lot more to come on that channel between us as well. So make sure you guys do that.